In this video, you will learn about how to solve equations. So the goal when solving equations is always to solve for the indicated variable using reverse or opposite operations. So my variable here is x, so that's what I'm going to be solving for. What's right next to the x is plus 13, so I'm going to put a box around that. And we want to box everything that's on the same side of the equal sign with the x. So we're going to start with the biggest box. In this case, there's only one box, and I have a plus 13. The opposite of plus 13 is minus 13. But what I do on one side, I have to do on the other in order to make sure that it's still equal. All right, so 13 minus 13 is 0, so that just cancels out. X is now by itself. 27 minus 13 is 14, so this is our answer. All right, let's try the same thing over here. So I'm solving for x. Right next to it is this minus 3. The opposite of minus 3 is positive or plus 3. Again, what I do on one side, I need to do on the other. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. And this negative 3 and positive 3 cancel out. So now x is by itself. All right, so here, again, we're solving for x. Right next to it is this 4. When there's no operation in between, that means to multiply. The opposite of multiply is to divide. So I have to do that on both sides. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that just cancels out. I have x left over, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Again, solving for x. X is being divided by 4, the opposite of which is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides. All right, so x is by itself now, which is what we wanted. 9 times 4 is 36. All right, let's move to something a little bit more complicated. So if I have more than one letter, more than one variable, on each side, then I need to move it before I can circle it. So we always want our letter to be on the left, and then the number to be on the right. All right, so this letter is not on the left, so we need to move it. So this is really 1a, and it's a positive 1. So the opposite of positive is negative 1. So again, I need to do that on both sides. Okay, so now I have 5a minus 1a, which is 4a. And again, these are going to cancel out. So now I have my letters all on the same side, so I'm going to circle it. So right next to the a is this 4, but then I also have something else. I have this minus 8. So again, I'm going to start with the biggest box, which has a minus 8. The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. So again, these are going to cancel. And then 8 plus 8 is 16. All right. So now, just like that other problem we did, the number in front of the letter, that means we're multiplying, so the opposite is to divide. Okay, so now a is by itself, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. All right, so last problem, a little bit more complicated. Whenever we see two fractions, we can do something called cross multiply. So we're going to multiply the things that are across from each other. All right, so we're going to do 5 times n minus 7. But in order to multiply this by the whole thing, I'm going to put it in parentheses. All right, so now we have 4 times n plus 5. We're going to do the same thing. All right, so now remember from simplifying expressions, we need to distribute. So I'm going to distribute on this side. And I'm going to have to distribute on this side. All right. So 5 times n is 5n. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. 4 times n is 4n. 4 times 5 is 20. Nothing to combine, so I'm just going to bring it down. Nothing to combine, so I'm just going to bring it down. All right, so now, like the other problem, we need to make sure our letters are on the left. So the opposite of 4n is negative 4n, so I'm going to subtract 4n on both sides. 5n minus 4n is 1n. Okay, now all my letters are on the left, so I can go ahead and circle it and put my boxes. All right, so my biggest box is this minus 35. The opposite of minus 35 is plus 35. And 20 plus 35 is 55. Divide by 1, because that's what's left, and it's being multiplied times the n. And then 55 divided by 1 is 55.